Welcome and thank you for joining me. Today's story is a calm and easy one, designed to help you become comfortable with the English language. Sit back and enjoy the story moment by moment. A dream called Paris. For a long time, Paris was only a name to me. I heard it in movies. I saw it in photos. I read about it in books. People said Paris was beautiful. People said Paris was romantic. People said Paris was full of history, art, and stories. When I finally decided to visit Paris, I felt excited and nervous at the same time. I was learning English, and I wanted to listen, observe, and understand the world more clearly. This trip was not only about travel, it was about slowing down, noticing details, and feeling a city with all my senses. I packed a small suitcase, a notebook, and a camera. I did not make a strict plan. I wanted Paris to surprise me. Development. The first morning in Paris, I arrived in Paris early in the morning. The train stopped slowly at the station. When the doors opened, I felt a new smell in the air. It was a mix of coffee, fresh bread, and the city itself. The station was busy but not chaotic. People walked fast, but they did not run. Everyone seemed to know where they were going. I stepped outside and looked around. Tall buildings, old walls, small cafes on the corners. Paris felt alive but calm. I walked to my small hotel near the River Seine. The streets were narrow. The buildings were tall and close together. Balconies had flowers. Windows were open. I heard voices speaking French. The language sounded soft and musical. After leaving my suitcase, I went outside again. I did not want to rest. I wanted to walk. The Eiffel Tower, seeing it for the first time. I followed the river. The Seine was quiet in the morning. Boats moved slowly on the water. People walked along the river, some alone, some together. I saw couples holding hands. I saw a man reading a book. I saw a woman drinking coffee and looking at the water. Then, suddenly, I saw it. The Eiffel Tower. It was bigger than I imagined. Stronger, more impressive. I stopped walking and just looked. The tower stood tall against the sky. The metal looked soft in the morning light. I understood why people loved it so much. It was not only a building. It was a symbol of Paris. I walked closer. Tourists were already there, taking photos. I asked a stranger to take a photo of me. He smiled and said, "Of course." That small moment made me feel welcome. A small cafe and a simple breakfast. After seeing the Eiffel Tower, I felt hungry. I found a small cafe on a quiet street. It had small tables outside. I sat down and looked at the menu. I ordered a croissant and a coffee. The waiter brought my order and said, "Bonjour." The croissant was warm and soft. The coffee was strong. I ate slowly. I watched people walk by. Some were going to work. Some were tourists like me. Some were just enjoying the morning. I did not check my phone. I was present, walking through the streets. I walked without a map. Paris is a city where walking feels natural. Every street has something interesting. A small shop, a beautiful door, a quiet square. I noticed the sound of the city. Cars were there, but they were not loud. People talked quietly. Music came from open windows. Church bells rang in the distance. I felt safe that I felt curious. Notre Dame, silence and stone later. I reached Notre Dame Cathedral. It was large and serious. The stone looked old and strong. Many people stood outside, looking up at the building. Some took photos. Some were quiet. I stood still. This place felt different. I thought about history, about time, about all the people who stood here before me. Kings, workers, travelers, dreamers. Inside, it was quiet. The light was soft. People whispered. I sat down on a wooden bench and rested. For a moment, Paris felt slow. Along the Seine, books and bridges. After Notre Dame, I walked again along the river. Green bookstalls stood near the water. Old books, posters, drawings. I stopped and looked. I did not buy anything, but I loved the feeling. The bridges were beautiful. Each one looked different. Some were simple, some were decorated. I crossed one bridge and stopped in the middle. I looked at the water. Paris was moving, but gently. Evening comes. As the day ended, the light changed. The city looked warmer, softer. Lights turned on in cafes and shops. People sat outside, talking and laughing. I walked back to my hotel slowly. I was tired but happy. Paris was no longer just a name. It was real. Morning near the Louvre. The next morning in Paris began quietly. I woke up early and opened the window. The street below was already awake. A man was cleaning the sidewalk. A woman walked her dog. Somewhere nearby, I smelled fresh bread again. Paris liked mornings. After a simple breakfast, I walked toward the Louvre. The sky was light gray, but the air felt fresh. I crossed a bridge over the Seine and saw the large building appear in front of me. The Louvre was huge. It felt serious and important. The old walls stood next to the modern glass pyramid. Old and new lived together here, and it felt natural. I stood in the large courtyard and looked around. People from many countries were there. Different languages, different faces. Everyone looked small next to the building. I entered slowly. Inside the Louvre, quiet and art. Inside the Louvre, everything felt calm. The rooms were big. The ceilings were high. The walls were full of art. Paintings, sculptures, history everywhere. I did not rush. I walked slowly and looked carefully. Some paintings were very old. Some were bright. Some were dark and serious. I did not understand everything, but I felt something. Art did not need many words. When I saw the Mona Lisa, the room was full of people. Everyone wanted to see her. She was small but famous. I smiled. Paris was like that too. Sometimes quiet, sometimes crowded, always interesting. After some time, my legs felt tired. My mind felt full. I left the museum and went outside. The air felt good again. A walk through the city, simple joy. I walked through the streets near the Louvre. Small shops were everywhere. Bookstores, clothing shops, bakeries. I bought a small sandwich and ate it while walking. People sat on benches. Some talked. Some listened to music. Some did nothing at all. I liked that. In Paris, it felt normal to do nothing. Montmartre, a different Paris. In the afternoon, I went to Montmartre. The streets there were smaller and steeper. The buildings felt closer. Artists sat outside, drawing portraits. Music played softly from cafes. Montmartre felt alive in a different way. I walked slowly up the hill. The road was long, but I did not mind. Every corner showed something new. A small square, a hidden cafe, a cat sleeping on a window. Then I reached the top. Sacré-Cœur, above the city. The white church stood proudly above Paris. Sacré-Cœur was bright and calm. People sat on the steps, looking at the city below. I sat down too. Paris was wide and beautiful from here. I could see rooftops, streets, the river in the distance. The city looked endless. For a moment, I felt very small, but in a good way. Evening in Montmartre. As evening came, the lights turned on. Music grew louder. People laughed. The sky became pink and orange. I ate dinner at a small restaurant. The food was simple but good. I listened more than I spoke. Paris taught me that listening is important. Paris at night. That evening, Paris changed again. The city became softer, quieter. The streets were still full of people, but everything felt slower. Lights shone from cafes and restaurants. Windows glowed warmly. The air felt calm. I walked along the Seine once more. At night, the river looked different. Reflections of lights danced on the water. Boats moved slowly, quietly. Couples walked hand in hand. Some people stopped to talk. Some just watched the water. I stopped on a bridge and looked down. Paris did not rush me. It never did. The Eiffel Tower at night. Later, I walked toward the Eiffel Tower again. At night, it was magical. The tower shone with golden light. Every hour, it sparkled. Small lights blinked and danced in the dark sky. People around me stopped and smiled. Some clapped. Some took photos. Some just watched. I watched too. I did not think about anything else. Only the moment. A quiet dinner. I found a small restaurant not far from the river. Inside, it was warm. Soft music played. I ordered a simple meal and water. I sat alone, but I did not feel lonely. I listened to the sounds around me. Plates, glasses, quiet conversations. French words I did not understand, but enjoyed hearing. Learning a language is not only about words. It is about listening, walking without a plan. After dinner, I walked again. I did not look at a map. I trusted my steps. Paris felt safe at night. Streets were well lit. People smiled. Music came from open doors. Somewhere, someone was playing an accordion. I felt relaxed. I felt grateful, thinking about the journey. As I walked, I thought about my trip. Paris was not only museums and buildings. It was moments, small details, feelings. I thought about learning English too. Just like travel, learning takes time. You do not need to understand everything at once. You need to listen, observe, and enjoy the process. Paris taught me that. The last morning. On my last morning, I woke up early. I packed my suitcase slowly. I looked out the window one last time. The street was quiet again. The city was waking up. I walked to a nearby cafe and ordered coffee and a croissant. One more time. I sat quietly and smiled. Paris had given me memories, calm moments, and inspiration. Conclusion: leaving Paris. When I left Paris, I did not feel sad. I felt full, full of images, full of sounds, full of calm thoughts. Paris stayed with me, not only as a place, but as a feeling. And I knew one thing: I would come back. Thank you for listening to this story with PUKB.English. We hope it helped you enjoy English and learn naturally through listening.